Hey YouTube fans, this is Eric here in the garden. Want to do a video today. I'm starting to plant some of my rose bushes that have been in pots here the last really 3 to 6, 7 weeks. So some of them are getting pretty big. I like to pot up my bare roots, get them a good start, develop that root system, have them in a perfect soil, and then go ahead and plant them. So in some cases, like these roses from K&M, they already come in pots. I like to keep them isolated. If it comes with black spot or spider mites, I keep them out of the garden, spray them, spray them, spray them. So kind of keep them in a quarantined area, and then once they get big, then I'll plant them. So that's one reason I keep them separated, to quarantine any new stuff from coming in the garden. I don't want new disease and pests. So that's one reason. They're already potted, so I leave them on the deck and kind of well way away from the garden itself, so I don't have any new issues. And then I mentioned bare roots I get in the mail. In this case, this is Dublin Bay. These are both from Palatine roses. Potted those up in the spring, and now they are plenty big and plenty ready to plant. They are well on their way to needing to be planted. A couple signs: I'm having to water these just about every day. They start to get droopy at the top. And that's because this is pretty root bound at this point. So it's more than past the time to plant it. It's ready to go. Another sign I just noticed on some of these, I'm starting to get some yellowing of the leaves, especially at the bottom. Again, we've been quite hot and dry here, so that's part of it. But that's another sign that, hey, this plant is bigger than the pot. So unless you're going to upgrade in pots and keep them on your deck for some reason, now's the time to plant them, because they're getting some of these yellowing of the leaves. That's some water stress. So again, in the next couple days, I'll get all these plants in the ground. The exception may be some of these Fortuniana. They're a lot bigger than when they arrive, but I may let them get a little bit bigger. Some of them still have some black spot on them, so I want to keep that out of the garden. So again, I'll let these kind of get big here over the next couple weeks, and I'll think about planting those. Now, back to the Dublin Bay and some of the roses that I'm going to get. This on the left is Dublin Bay, and actually this is Dolly Parton on the right. Before I plant it, and I'll be able to pop it out of the pot pretty easily, I want to do a little bit of maintenance before I plant it in the ground, and that's what this video is about. Notice I have a lot of healthy green canes, but I do have some dieback. And dieback is natural. It could be a fungus, a bacterial, some type of issue with the cane, and it happens quite frequently. But you can see here, I've got some dieback on the plant itself, and so what I want to do is I want to cut that out. So in this case, this is all the dead cane, and I want to go down to green and make a cut there. So I'm cutting all the dead stuff out. In this case back here, again, it's dead on top. So you go down to wherever green is occurring. In this case, it's down here, and that's where I would make my cut. However, in between each cut, you really should disinfect your pruners, and my wife came up with this little thing for me. I really appreciate her help in the garden. This is just your standard cup holder that you can get at any fast food chain. But in one cup is hydrogen peroxide, and the other one is just water. She has it labeled so I don't forget which is which. So when I make my cut, again, I'm going down to green, remove all the dead from above. Then I'm going to come over here and dip my pruners in the disinfectant, and then I'm going to dip them in the water. Now they're ready for a new cut. And you need to do this not only from bush to bush, but if I'm cutting out dieback on one cane and I'm going to another cane on the bush, I still need to make that cleaning of the pruners. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but dieback, if it gets all the way down to the crown, to the bud union, can cause death of the plant. So usually it's not a huge deal in terms of, this plant is plenty healthy, but I don't want to spread any of that dieback to the rest of it. So pretty quick update today. Again, I'm going to get in the ground, Dublin Bay, some of these climbers, some of these hybrid teas that are, really established. So probably over the next week,